Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital.
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hot...
Please, describe to me how you feel.
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Ugh.
I'm assuming you must be...
It's only a cover to hide from my enemy.
Who are these enemies?
I cannot say for sure.
The staff here are not your enemy.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the...
I see. Don't worry.
Thank you, mortal, but do not...
Who are you really?
Is that not enough for you, puny?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember.
I'll leave you.
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea deftly works his society contacts for monies. But with the quarantine, well...
Please, could you
It's the large boarded-up building behind the hospital.
Why then
At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
lack of...
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital.
Your dedication to the...
We staff get our sleep when we can, Doctor.
That's all for now, no...
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Good evening.
Unless you're here to fix my face.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of...
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my...
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir.
Can I do anything for you?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills.
Who is treating you?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry.
Where were you...
I really don't want to talk about all this
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served...
You were an officer, weren't you?
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She...
So do you let her bite you?
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's...
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her work.
Goodbye for now.
Fear and disgust. God. The daily...
Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid. Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had...
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to...
You dared to enter this awful place alone.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed.
Do you know Tom Watts? The bartender from the...
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities...
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just...
What is the general situation in the East End?
The situation has always been tough. With the...
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show. With the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no.
What?
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of...
Are you a priest?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith, willing...
Why didn't you use your cross?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is not...
How do you...
I feel exhausted.
You're in good hands here. Doctors...
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back.
Have you made friends since...
Not really. But I reckon...
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick?
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Well, it's a euphemism that...
How would you describe...
It's serious.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry. I'm exhausted. No one has any idea.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even...
I wish I could believe you. But...
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning.
You'd be surprised what...
Sorry, Doctor.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton the...
Why is Milton...
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike...
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty...
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed.
How is the situation?
You want to hear the situation is all right?
Are you really smuggling weapons through...
And why not? I've already been...
But you're not defending yourself.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
So what do you...
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough.
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped...
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. Is he?
Why do you have...
Fuck them. Nobody...
I know it's a difficult task.
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys.
I'm sorry, I don't know what...
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. Wise choice, Doctor.
Good.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir.
Did he really? It's a good thing I would...
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary...
How are...
Not good, to say the least.
An invisible enemy?
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all
I'm not familiar.
brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea...
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a...
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know...
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Goodbye, nurse. Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed...
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about... what this hospital is...
It's more than a...
Don't be misled by appearances, Doctor.
What can you...
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period...
Tell me more about cherished people.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl.
You really seem to admire her.
I'll go even further.
Any opinion about the man?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve.
Ah, yes, the burden of command.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good...
You're exhausting him.
No, we must...
Your attitude...
You're right. This is...
Goodbye, Doc. Good evening.
Good evening.
Why...
If it wasn't...
Dr. Tippett.
If you're suggesting...
Goodbye, nurse.
Good.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
After this epidemic.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.